and someone immediately from Embark, which is now CenturyLink, tweeted back to me and said, you know, I'll give you a call right now. He fixed it. Now I have like his private number to, you know, if ever we have a problem. And now I'm a huge CenturyLink fan. I mean, they were pretty much the worst company in the world to me before that. But the fact that I said something and they fixed it to make it right, and they also went above and beyond from a customer service perspective, really, you know, brought me over to their side. So they're really tremendous, you know, customer service opportunities. Some of the successes that we've had, again, they're qualitative, because the network opportunities, as far as I've had some great business book authors, I've been able to communicate with them, and it's been, I guess the best example of this was I was at an Inc. magazine conference a couple of years ago, and I was kind of tweeting about it, like looking forward to going to this, and one of the speakers said, oh, you know, you should definitely come to my session. And he is an author, his name is Tom Searcy, and so I went to his session, and I tweeted during the session, and since then he said the fact that, and this was earlier on when not as many people were on Twitter, but he said the fact that I tweeted during his session, it brought more people actually to his session during the conference, and Inc. magazine picked him up as doing a speaking tour. So he went, I think he went to six or seven different cities speaking on behalf of Inc. magazine on, you know, different business related topics. And so he said that he felt the fact that I had done that had really helped, you know, promote him even just within the conference, and then make him look good to the magazine. And I mean, here's a guy who's a consultant for, you know, $100 million companies, and I've actually been able to do something to help him. And so now, you know, he's been a great mentor of mine. And I don't really know what the quantitative aspect of that would be, but a lot of people ask, okay, so how do you know that this is working? And so I don't know how I would tie a number to that, and I would be able to say, okay, we've made this much more money. In some ways you can do that when you know, have actually sold via Facebook or via your blog, but you know, that's something that's somewhat priceless. And so I have a lot of, you know, examples of that, so that shouldn't be played down. You know, again, I talked about the kind of new business opportunities, and then also early on when I was talking about the Wizard of Oz curtain, from our internal culture perspective, this has been a great way for us to be transparent and real. Everyone who works in our company, well, with a couple of exceptions, but I mean, most of us are under 30, and it's a way for us to be able to show personality and not feel like you're working, you know, in like a suit that doesn't fit you. So we've been able to shape the company to be what we want it to be, kind of brand it and really show what our personality is. And I think that as far as if you're someone who works as an employee for a company, I mean, I think you guys would probably agree that that would be something that would be important, that you actually work for something that isn't just a logo, it means something, and that what it means can actually be put out there to the world. So that's been, I think that's been another one of our great successes. Challenges, as I said, quantitative measurements. That's been really hard. Everyone, and this is not just hard for our company, it's something that people in the industry struggle with because there's so few historical benchmarks that will say, you know, okay, here's where you should be. You should have this many Facebook fans, or you should have this kind of interaction. They're starting to, we're starting to put together more key performance indicators, but it's not easy to say this is working. But it's along the same lines as how do you know, your advertisement in a magazine is working, or in the newspaper, or your TV ad is working. I mean, they can show you have this much viewership, but is everyone who's coming into your door and buying a candle from your candle shop actually going to say, oh, I saw you on NBC? So, you know, that rarely happens. You were talking about blogs, and content creation and management is also a big challenge. Just a couple years ago, when a lot of us didn't have blogs, it was so much easier because we didn't have to be constantly freshening up our site with, you know, new ideas and new content, and that can be a total challenge to come up with, you know, 3 blog posts a week. A lot of blogs have multiple a day, so doing that can be hard. And then also being first or early to market. It's kind of a business principle or term of being first to market. What that means is then you're having to educate your entire market and your clientele on what, you know, not only why they should hire you, but what it is that you do, why this is important. That can be, you know, a much steeper hurdle, or a much bigger hurdle to have to overcome. I just wanted to touch on something from a company called Altimeter, which, do you guys know the book called Groundswell? It's a good book. I would definitely recommend it. So Charlene Lee is one of the principals in Altimeter, and she's kind of a forward-thinking person in social media. And so they put together this report just in April of last year. I think it's probably the best way of looking at social media and how you could possibly quantitatively measure it. So they say that, and of course this is going to be a little different depending upon what company you're with, but there are 4 main business objectives that you can start to sort of mold. But fostering dialogue, promoting advocacy, facilitating support, and spurring innovation. So when we're looking at fostering dialogue, building awareness for your brand. So this might be a reason that you have a Facebook page where you want fans or people who like your page to be interacting with each other. The fact that it comes up in your news feed, you know, you're constantly kind of building awareness, and the shareability. I don't even think that's an actual word, but it is now. The fact that you can, from a blog, you could email it to your friend and say, this is really great. Or you could post it on Twitter. Or, you know, the amount or the ease with which you can share information, that's, you know, another great way of fostering dialogue. Engaging and eliciting feedback, and then responding and reacting on behalf of the brand. So if someone says, I really, you know, hey Starbucks, I really love the new Via coffee because it's portable, I can, you know, take it home, it's a little packet. Starbucks should be responding with, oh, I'm so glad that you like it, would there be anything else that you would want to see? Or, you know, some way to kind of pull that person in so it doesn't make them feel like, oh, I just said this, and yes.
You said use a lot of, like, not a lot, but use personality in your blog, your Facebook, your Twitter. But when it comes to your website, do you keep it like professional, like, or do you still add personality to it?
It depends on what your, you know, what your brand is as to how much personality you're going to show. But we have our blog tied to our website, or if you go to our